KOIKIMEDIA, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwa sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, kìnìún ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àdán ọgbẹ́jẹ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè kó Odùduwà ga.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wá.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe gírí, ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀, àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
KOIKIMEDIA, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. KOIKIMEDIA ọlọ́lá gbajúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi, ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ tó àjòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀, àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé, ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o. KOIKIMEDIA ṣàwa ní bàbá. KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ, jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you work closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o, tó ń kan gíogó lára ni.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ní bàbá o.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá, ẹ gbé polówó ọjà yín wá o.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà la gbé dání, òtítọ́ la gbé dání.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sódìkẹta.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
A dúró tán, a tún pèrègèdè.
KOIKIMEDIA àwọn ní bàbá.
closer to your doorstep. KOIKIMEDIA is around
To give us latest.
Is around
To give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
KOIKIMEDIA is around.
To give us latest.
Koiki.
Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá, ẹ má jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́. Nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa, táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba, tá à ń bú jòyè. Èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí, bó mo pera mi padà. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́, ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan. Àwọn ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀, ọba ò lè sọ, ìjòyè lè sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá wa jà mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ á bú wọn mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ á ṣe wọ́n ra wọn ara pẹ̀lú wọn. Àwọn àgbà tó bá jó lóṣèlú, tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́, á gbé wọn mọ́ra, á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni, à ní bú wọn mọ́. Ẹ má jẹ́ á ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n, ẹ má jẹ́ á dàlúrú. A lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú. Gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà, mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́. Mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́. Gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yàn lọ́lọ́run fún mi. Mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fúnjà Yorùbá. Big man ni mí, àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀. Pé sọ́wọ́ lè mi mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́, mo ní ìṣòro owó. Àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ. Kí n wọ gbowó, kí n gbéra, kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó, mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó, kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀, kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀, kí Fúlàní mọ́ dá mi dúró títì, kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ. Àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́, wọn ò lè lóńdò. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn, ká dá security ti wá lẹ̀, ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í, ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́, Jésù Olúwa.
Impediment to Yoruba development. Is the impediment to Odua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves.
We are not Nigerian.
Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria had not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
If the Constitution maintains by Section 2 that Nigeria is one indissoluble nation and doesn't provide for means or procedure by which a people or a particular sector of the nation, a federating people, can choose to say at this particular point we want to have a nation of our own, and it doesn't provide for a peaceful means by which this can be guaranteed, there will always be frictions that will be leading to violence, killings, and bloodshed. And to avoid this, it is imperative that we look at that provision of Section 2 that says that Nigeria is one indissoluble, indestructible entity that doesn't make provision for the procedure by which a people can advance the right to self-determination. There have been many occasions where, on so many occasions we hear from the Arewa People's Congress or whatever agitating that yes, if Nigeria cannot work, they want to go on their own. The Biafra agitators are there. We have the Odua nation and what have you. If the Constitution provides for a procedure to determine peacefully whether a people can separate from Nigeria, you see that some of these agitations might be completely quenched. For instance, let me give you one. Tomorrow now, if we provide for referendum or plebiscite, these are political procedures for determining whether a nation or a nation in a country, because I want to take the definition of a nation here to mean the ethnic nationalities, maybe the Yoruba nation, the Igbo nation, the Arewa nation, or Ijo, Ibiobio, and what have you. Now, if a people can be entitled to right to call for plebiscite that can be supervised by international organs like the United Nations and what have you, it can be safely and easily determined that, okay, these people in this particular area as done in 1960, in 1959-60, if my recollection is right, with the people of the southern part of Cameroon who formed part of Nigeria before, but when they decided that no, they wanted to be on their own, then a plebiscite was conducted and they were able to have a separate nation of their own. If we say Nigeria is an indissoluble entity and will not tolerate any agitation by which people can determine whether they want to be on their own, definitely we are only calling for crisis on our own net. Tomorrow now, if you subject it to plebiscite, that okay, people of the Igbo nation should decide whether they want to be part of Nigeria or they want to have a nation of their own. You might find a situation that the majority may say they prefer to be in Nigeria rather than having a Biafra. And that will silence the people who are agitating. And if people who are agitating are in the majority by virtue of the plebiscite, why not allow such to just take place peacefully so that there is no sense in remaining one single entity by force that may lead to bloodshed and what may even be characterized as genocide, because a situation where that is allowed, then we have descended below the level of humanity. So these are some of the provisions. Going to the political level, to some of the political angle that may require some intervention.
We have problems in the land, and the problems, I want to say this, I might be off the cuff, is because of our constitution. Also, Nigeria is not operating any constitution known to honesty, entrenched in group faith, brought about by unanimity of the people, acceptable to federalism, and again, that is also, we also have that problem in the judiciary. Because of the Nigerian situation, we have a unitary system. That's what we run. Hydra-headed. Don't let us pretend. And I've said it over and over. And I'll continue to say it. And that's unitarism. Has also crept into the judiciary. Today, the entire Nigerian judiciary is unitarized. The Supreme Court is federal. Federal Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal is federal. Federal High Court is federal. FCT is federal. National Industrial Court is federal. Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal High Court is federal. Sharia Court of Appeal of the Federal High Court is federal. All jurisdictions. That the Coyote Church of this world, that the Operators of this world, that the bailiffs of this world, when they were in their respective high courts, exercised, making the law to be profound, succulent, rich, exciting, they are now vested in the different federal high court or federal courts. We're talking of how to reform the system. There is no justification in a state, in a nation like Nigeria, purporting to practice federalism, where even the Supreme Court should be overburdened with unnecessary jurisdiction in respect of land matters from Yoruba land, respect of divorce, respect of family matters, chieftaincy matters. How do they know? I don't want us to be deceiving ourselves. Assuming I'm even appointed to the Supreme Court today, I'm above the age, but assuming, and I'm sitting there, and you bring a matter on appeal in respect of Kanuri native law and custom, or Igbo native law and custom, or Igbo land tenure system, and I sit there and I'm writing judgment. I'm a Yoruba man. What do I know about that? Those kind of cases to stop at the state, either Court of Appeal or Supreme Court. Go to the United States of America. Each state has its own Supreme Court. We are running into trouble. We are inching there, and time is not in our favor. And I'm not tickled by what the National Assembly is doing. They are not being fair to themselves. They are not being fair to us. They claim to be amending the Constitution. What are they amending? And I want to repeat it. Do you amend something that is not amendable? When you want to amend the Constitution, by the way, Lati, where do you start? You start from the preamble.
We the people.
Oh yes, they have to amend it. Why are they running away from it? If they cannot amend the preamble, if the preamble is not amendable, then it means the Constitution is not amendable. Come on. They have to start from it. Do you start reading your letter from the back page? Do you? No, they have to start from the preamble. That means the preamble is fake. We the people, who are the we? When did we meet? And why can't we do it? I'm studying the constitutions of the world. And I say this also with every sense of humility. There's no constitution that is near as fake, near as deceitful, near as make-believe in nature and in content as the Constitution, as what we call the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended.
President Tinubu needs to put his best foot forward to govern the country. If he does that, in 4 years, he can turn things around. But there are certain critical things he would need to do. The first thing is to say, what's the Constitution? If, for instance, me and my wife Lillian don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bola Ige asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force. If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions, which is why I told President Babi of the Senate that it has taken 23 years to solve the problem of the Constitution. And I urged him, in conjunction with President Tinubu, to resolve the Nigerian constitutional question now by inviting the owners of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria, mark you, were those who owned Nigeria before Luga.
I pray God will give Asiwaju the courage to do it, because it will affect even himself. It will affect all the APC powers. It will affect all the MDs of banks. The MDs of banks are the destroyer of this system. The powerful, the high and the mighty. He is stepping on their toes. I pray God give him the grace to do it. The next thing he should do, tell him if you know him, is to restructure this country. Nigeria is a fraud. One particular tribe repressing the whole of us. Did you hear what Central Bank governor wants to do? Just a department, the operation department of Central Bank, to be moved back to Lagos, where you have 99% of the headquarters of bank. The North is agitated. Don't take Abuja back to Lagos. They don't care. If you all become beggars, it's okay for their oligarchic mentality. I talk like no other pastor talk. I talk like no other pastor talk. Because I have seen into governance, I have seen into the church. And I know where the problem is in this country. Are you hearing me? They may not like what I'm saying, but they cannot dispute the truth. This country cannot go on like this. Okay, I was talking about those who migrated. I don't blame those that want to japa. You know, initially I was saying don't japa. Do you hear me say that again? Japa if you want to japa. Because you look at the country and say, what future? If it goes on like this, what future? If it goes on like this, civil war is imminent. If it goes on like this, military intervention is imminent. Do we want to go back to that? No. Something must happen. I have always believed that something must happen. Do you see the way we pray in this church? Make Nigeria one. We don't pray. Nigeria is not one, and it can never be one. We are different nations tied together by force. We should still be one country, but let everyone govern himself the way he likes. Are you hearing me? Let the Niger Delta have their oil. Let the East have their resources. Let the Yoruba people have their resources. Let the North have their resources. Let them manage their security. Give them state police. Let everybody guard his borders. Let everybody generate his economy. Why must you generate oil in the Niger Delta and take it to the North? Why must we generate IGR here, or the VATs, and take it to the North that generate nothing? The 10 key northern states have Sharia. Sharia says no to alcohol. Sharia says no to tobacco. But alcohol and tobacco is what gives us VAT here. And you take the money from there to spend where you say you don't want, but you like the money. Fraud, unfairness, injustice. Where did we sit down to make Nigeria 36 states? Where did we sit down? Nigeria was negotiated 3 regions. North, West, East. 1963, by plebiscite, Midwest came in. Where did we sit down and say we shall be 36 states plus Abuja, and the biggest one taken to the North? More local governments. Then we came with federal character. You are qualified, but from the tribe you came from, you can't be qualified. Now, you can't pass any law in that National Assembly without Northern approval. They are in larger quantity. Deliberately made so. So how do we go from there?
Started thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this will help us to have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought 4, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same sense as there are English, Welsh, or French. The word Nigerian is merely a distinctive appellation to distinguish those who live within the boundaries of Nigeria from those who do not. This is accredited to Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the former Prime Minister of the Western region. The second one, and I quote, it is true that we politicians always delight in talking loosely about the unity of Nigeria. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria. What is now Nigeria consisted of several large and small communities, all of which were different in their outlooks and beliefs. The advent of the British and that of Western education has not materially altered the situation, and the many and varied communities have not knit themselves into a composite unit. This is accredited to Sir Amadu Bello, former Premier of Northern Region. The third, and I quote, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, in their religious beliefs and customs, and do not show themselves any sign of willingness to unite. The Nigerian unity is only a British intention for the country.
It is not in their hands, because you know what? Power belongs to the people. Anything we want is what we're going to get.
Once again, I want to ask this. Do you think this dream is realizable without a war? And are you prepared to fight another war?
This dream can be realized without a war. And let me put it this way, as soon as the people, the various ethnic groups in Nigeria realize what Nigeria means to each and every ethnic group, they will subscribe to our position. So it is realizable without a war. Before the white man came, let me ask you this, because it's an interview, which means you can ask me questions and I can ask you. Before the white man came, was there any Nigeria? Before the white man came, did Nigeria exist? It's a simple question that I'm asking you. Dele, did Nigeria exist before?
It didn't, no.
It didn't exist. Then why are African people, black people dying over something that they did not create? Did any Yoruba man create Nigeria? The answer is no. No Igbo man created Nigeria. No Hausa man did. No Fulani man did. No Kanuri man did. No Jukun man did. When you come to Nigeria, it's always a debate about it is our turn. It is our turn. It is our turn to rule. Now, there are over 250 main ethnic groups in Nigeria. If you keep rotating the presidency every 8 years to each and every ethnic group, times 8 by 250, how many years are you going to get? So some people will die many times over. They will reincarnate many times over. The presidency hasn't come to them. Nigeria is a joke and an absolute mess. It was not created by black people. Therefore, it cannot be sustained by black people. I want to see an Africa where a Yoruba nation, a Yoruba mega nation extends from Togo all the way to Edo State. That's what I want. Because that is authentic Africa. I don't know why Africans are so beholden to something that is alien to them. Are you a white man? The lugard that created Nigeria is a white man. What are you doing as an African defending something that a white man created out of, should I say, a racist intent? Nigeria was an ordinary company, Royal Niger Company, an ordinary business venture that the British converted into a nation. And Africans are killing themselves, trying to maintain something that a white man created. Sometimes I wonder what type of God made African people. I don't understand it. And that is why you have this neo-colonialism. That is why the British High Commissioner had to go to Tinubu to ask him, how do you end this protest? Because if this protest continues, you're jeopardizing our oil. Nnamdi Kanu can use it as an advantage to go and get Biafra. They asked the army to go in and kill people. You people are being ruled by your colonial masters. Your fate is not in your hand. You're in a country that is 60 years old, so to speak. There is no electricity. If I am a Nigerian, I can't come out and say I'm a Nigerian. I'll be ashamed of myself. For 60 years, you have no electricity. For 60 years, no good roads. For 60 years, no good schools. For 60 years, your politicians are traveling abroad for medical treatment. I ask you, what is there to be proud of about Nigeria? Name one thing you can be proud of. Name one thing. It's a question I'm asking you, Dele. Tell me one thing you can be proud of in Nigeria.
Nigerians are amongst the brightest people in the world, including the Igbo people, of which you are one. You're a very brilliant man. That is Nigeria in your DNA.
I was born a Biafran, not a Nigerian. Nigeria is a historical mistake.
Was there a birth certificate at that time that wrote Biafra on it?
Of course, yes. You want me to show you? I will show it to you. I can email it to you. It's not here with me right now. I can email it to you. My person is Biafra.
I don't mind.
I will email it to you. So you see, what I'm asking is, if Nigeria never existed until the white man came, why are you as a black African man defending it? What's a white man created? Why? When you have Yorubas in Benin Republic, Yoruba is in Togo, they speak your language, they eat your food, they dress the same way you do, you have the same culture, the same value system, the same orientation, and I'm asking you, and the white man came from Europe and said, oh, you are Yoruba from Togo, you speak French. You're Yoruba from Benin Republic, you're going to speak French. But you, you're Yoruba from Nigeria, you speak English. Are people not perturbed by that? That level of dehumanization, that level of subjugation. You see, The one thing that shocks me about Africa and their class of intellectuals is the fact that they are willing to swallow hook, line, and sinker anything the colonial master gives to them. And I've asked you this very question. Can you go to Europe and create a country as a black man? The answer is no. Then why must you accept what a white man is doing in Africa? Do you see why we are poor and very backwards? Do you see why Nigeria can never have 24 hours of electricity? Never, ever, ever, ever. Because the foundation is faulty. The orientation of Fulani Janja, people were protesting SARS killings in the south. Fulani people in the north were busy having fun and laughing and smiling. And you want to be in the same country with them. Your value system, your reasoning, your understanding, your orientation can never ever be the same. Never be the same. Why did Britain leave the EU? Then I'm asking you, are they not Christians? Are they not Democrats? Are they not, don't they believe in free trade and voting people in and voting them out? But then why did Britain leave the EU? Why? The same Britain that left the EU is asking me not to leave Nigeria. Nigeria that is only 100 years old. Your grandfather was not a Nigerian. Was not. So why must you throw away the history of your family, the rich history of Yoruba people? Because a white man called the place Nigeria. Why must you do that? Why? Can I go to England and name them and name them Albania and say all your history is now gone? We are doing our ancestors a disservice. And let me tell you why Black Africa cannot go forward. Some people, not you, some people accepted this nonsensical balkanization of Africa with their useless flag independence. And your ancestors are in the grave. Your ancestors that existed before the white man was born, they are in the grave. You jettison their history and their identity. You banish it, you denigrate it, you insult them by accepting this garbage called Nigeria, and you want them to be happy with you. That is why no Black African country can see development. No Black.
If I may just
Sunday Igboho,
yes,
who was also arrested,
right.
I've written severally on it that he should also, because his determination for Oduduwa Republic is not a crime known international law.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. That's the point I'm trying to raise with you. If it were not signaled to non-state actors and other ethnic agitators that they can actually go ahead, in the event that President Muhammadu Buhari really responds to your appeal.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You and I, we are living in Nigeria. You are talking about harmless people who are not armed. Are you not aware that in this country, some Boko Haram, some people accused of Boko Haram were released and traded for others by way of a quid pro quo? They say, okay, release some of us, then we will release some of your detained citizens. Are you not aware that that has gone on in this country? So what is the bad precedent of saying a non-violent person should be released from detention, from illegal detention, a detention that the United Nations has been found to be illegal and to be unconstitutional and to be torturous? I do not see anything that is setting any bad precedent there in a situation where as a matter of fact, some Boko Haram and armed bandits are being released in exchange for some of their members, where kidnappers are demanding from parents of children they have kidnapped to buy tarodo, tatache, tomatoes, vegetable oil, palm oil, uba, to buy salt, to buy rice, for them, beans, yams, for them to feed their children so as to keep them alive, to enable the parents pay ransom for them. What is the long precedent here that we are just saying, find a political solution by going through the tenets and the provisions of the law? I do not personally see anything wrong with that at all, and there's none that I know of. And I cannot see it leading to any floodgate or any resurgence by other people coming to say, criminals coming to say, oh, you must also give me reprieve. It does not happen that way. How many Nnamdi Kanus do you have in Nigeria? And how many Sunday Igbohos do you have in Nigeria? These are people who have carried the specter of their people on their heads, and they have become a metaphor for their self-determination struggle.
Other countries were refused at first, but we have to remember, and this is a really important point, that self-determination is an inalienable international right and a law as well. And other countries will recognise Scotland's democratic choice expressed at the ballot box. They will recognise that because that is the route that many other countries have taken in order to become independent. And just to make that point, that international law is very pragmatic on that point, so we should have confidence in that.
If you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia, and today it is happening. And if you have not applied for your Somalian visa, please try and do so. Should I say Somali visa? Try and do so as quickly as possible, because the zoo is on the path of destruction, and there is nothing man can do to reverse it. Mark today's date and what I'm telling you. Nigeria will be destroyed beyond human comprehension.
Wow. I decided to take us through some kind of journey for the last 37 minutes. My name is Koiki, and this is Self-Determination Campaign Platform. As usual, and I hope that it's been a very beautiful day, depending on what part of the globe you are. I sight many of you on the platform. We're on a full transmission tonight, as usual. We see how far we can go. It is just coming up to 5 minutes past midnight in UK, England, London, precisely where this transmission is coming from. I say shout out to our leaders, shout out to our campaigners, shout out to all the different groups that are working tirelessly to make sure that we keep the fire burning. As much as it's been a long day, many programs have been done. I've listened to some of them. I'm still catching up with some of them. This is just another one from another angle. This one takes you through the international section of what is happening in the world, and then we can link it to what is happening with Yoruba Nation. So I welcome you into the program. If it's your first time, please monitor all the comments. If you come up with some nasty comment, I will curse your father, I will curse your mother, I will send you back to your generation. Shout out to my beautiful mother, shout out to my wife, shout out to my children, and shout out to all the listeners that have joined us as usual. So Moki Bubuakwe, Shidada Nimobawa, Moki Babami, Professor Adebanji Akitoye Mofitele Dumare Mofikini at 89. You will expect that many young Yoruba people will follow and listen to him. But unfortunately, Aomo Yoruba ni enu babanu lenu todoti won. Baba ti ṣe ìjọba Nigeria rí ní Second Republic. So if you are still in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, as long as you are not 89 years old, le mọ̀ tó Baba Akitoye. Kò sí any kind of knowledge that you have, le mọ̀ tó wọn. Because at the moment, he understands the history. He's a professor of history. So even if you are an economics, accountant, geologist, doctor, nurse, engineer, philosopher, you cannot know what this man has seen, especially people that work during the era of the late legend, the Jeremiah of our time, Baba Oluwole. Àwọn tó bá Baba Oluwole ṣe lélẹ̀. Bàbá jẹ́ kó yé wa pé àwọn làwọn kọ manifesto UPN. Ṣé UPN ló ń pè wọ́n nígbà yẹn àbí African? Yeah, I think UPN, I can't remember now. Bàbá jẹ́ kó yé wa pé àwọn làwọn kọ manifesto yẹn. I don't think maybe some of you understand what that means. So ìwọ tó wà ní 20 tó wá ní iṣẹ́ wo ni ìwọ náà lè ṣe. You can start writing policies for the YSDM, and hopefully those policies can be implemented if we go along with it in the future. Nígbà tí Yorùbá Nation bá dá dúró. So kò sẹ́nìtì tó fi sọ fúnra wa, because Baba Akitoye have said it all. At 89, nígbà tí èèyàn bá pé 89, pẹ̀lẹ́ tó dẹ̀ sì ń jẹ́ kó yé wa pé Nàìjíríà ò lè work ìwọ tó bí lánàá ò rí pé ìwọ ló ti ní knowledge ó ti lọ sí Oxford bí DJ copy àbó ti lọ sí Harvard àbí Harvard bí Ogunlesi Adébáyọ̀. They know that Nigeria cannot work. That's why he refused to invest in Nigeria. Rather, he put his money outside where at least he can guarantee the future of the company that he runs. Orayi lọ sí London School of Economics. Báwo báyìí ti débẹ̀? Gbogbo wọn lọ ti lọ síbẹ̀. Fáyẹmí, I think he did a course there, very expensive. Majority àwọn tá à ń gbé nílùú òyìnbó ò lè lọ síbẹ̀ torí pé tó bá wá sí ìlú yìí ní tó bá ti máa wá sí ìlú yìí tó ń ṣe pé o wà nínú Nigerian politics tó yẹ pé nǹkan kan ló gbé ẹ wá sí ìlú yìí, you are likely not to, because these are very expensive universities. But if you're very lucky and you have a family that have the wealth, like the Okoyas, the Otedolas, the Dangotes, the DUA, the Tony Elemelu, the Davidos, the Adeleke, or to be governor, to lucky to find a scholarship, you would attend any of these beautiful institutions because they're quite expensive. But Baba Akintoye, nígbà táwọn ṣe PhD wọn, it was a very difficult time because zero computer can't load this in. Most of the things that they have to write, wọ́n kọ síta pẹ̀lú ọwọ́ ni, pẹ̀lú pen and paper. I'm talking about their thesis, which some of you tẹ́ni ẹ ti kàwé gan ní Nigeria, you cannot defend it. So if you're still one of those that says that, Yorùbá nation là ń wá Tinubu máa ṣe Tinubu wá dàgbà tó Baba Akintoye? Ọmọ ni Tinubu ṣì máa jẹ́ sí Baba Akintoye, regardless of whether we know the background of Tinubu or we know his age. At least whatever age tó bá máa lò kò dàgbà tó Baba Akintoye. At least we know that. Okay, ó kàwé, at least ó better ju ti Buhari lọ. Okay, ó ní understanding, ó ti gbé labroad rí ju Buhari lọ. Because òun sá kúrò Nigeria during the Nadeko era. Ó lè má ṣe military rí, but ó lo civilian power tó ti ṣe ní Lagos State, ó fi transform Nigeria. You think so? So in your own head, you think that Tinubu will just transform Nigeria and then add the handover padà fún àwọn tí wọ́n tún máa run ẹ̀ tó bá ṣe tán, àbí ṣé òun ló máa run Nigeria forever? Ṣé o mọ̀ pé tá bá ti gba Yorùbá country, Igbo lè run ẹ̀ on our behalf, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Hausa lè run ẹ̀, and bí Nnamdi Kanu ṣe sọ 250 ethnic groups, àwa la máa run ẹ̀ fúnra wa. Lóòótọ́ àti intermarry and all that, but ó ní bó ṣe lè ṣe. Àìmọye àwọn ọmọ Nigerian tó fẹ́ British kò ń ṣe Eastern European nílùú yìí, ó níbi tó cap wọn dé. There are some jobs that you will not given access to because it becomes security threat to this country. So ẹni tó ní British passport kò mí ipò guarantee kó máa rí gbogbo iṣẹ́ nílùú yìí. There's a code that comes with the national insurance number. Tó bá máa tán pè níbẹ̀ is what it's used to deduct tax nílùú yìí, and you must give that number whenever you're working or as a self-employed or a businessman. So before that NI is issued to you, it automatically indicates who you are. So ní láti ṣe sọ fún Ministry of Defence pé bíbá ẹ lọ bí ẹ sí àbí bíbá ẹ kọ́ lọ bí ẹ sí, NI yẹn máa sọ fún wọn. So even if you apply a job there, tó bá rí pé iṣẹ́ yẹn is gonna be highly risk to protect this country, you will not be given the job. Wọ́n kàn máa sọ fún ẹ pé àwọn sorry pé o lè gbaṣẹ́ yẹn. O wá lè tún wá lọ sí another place where you will be given the same different job in the same ministry but kò ní jẹ́ the same job to apply for. Àìmọye àwọn ọmọ Nigerians tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú MI5 and not cleaning job but only stage tó lè dé. Yes, they need our brain. That is why they ask for people to come into this country so that you can help the society. So tí bàbá Akíntóyè bá wá ń sọ fún Tinubu lẹ́nu pé we understand your ambition and your love for Nigeria. There's nothing wrong in that. But you're not likely to fix that country because that country cannot be fixed. That is what makes him and Tinubu different. But Tinubu ní right láti ṣe tó ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ because he's also due as one of the politicians in the current or the old dispensation of the shito country tó ń pè Nigeria. Tàbá wò lọ wò bọ̀, Tinubu is still far better than Buhari, at least in terms of capacity, in terms of one or two things. But they're running the same agenda, which is the agenda of a manifesto of a political party. Ṣé Tinubu máa derail kúrò lórí manifesto agenda party ẹ̀ láti fi satisfy àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá? This is where we have to keep the pressure going so that we can tell him straight up, we're not interested in Nigeria. Ìyẹn ní láti mú jà dání. It's just that we need to clear and understand things so that we don't have, issues. Mo kí àtó bí mi lọ́mọ. So when we talk, Kunle Bakers, thank you so much. I've just spotted you coming into the program. It's been a while. And Dizzy Man 123, shout out to two of you. Kunle Bakers have just sent us a super chat. Sorry I didn't see it on time. I would have appreciated it. I just saw it now. But I've been focused on the camera. I love you, my brother. And I hope the weather is changing on the other side. Thank you so much, Dizzy, the member of KOIKIMEDIA of the YouTube, and many of you. Moki Bubuli Beshin settle down. I am OLAYOMI Koiki. This is the platform that goes round, search the beam of what is happening around the world, and we link it to Yoruba nation. So kò sí bí ẹnì kankan ṣe lè defend in Nigeria because Baba Akintoye have lived it. And he did not leave it, he leave it with a legend. Okay, tani legend wa ta lè máa sọ pé a lè máa fi tọ́ka sí? Òun ni Baba Oluwole. Baba Akintoye àti Baba Oluwole. Baba Oluwole wọ́n dàgbà ju Baba Akintoye lọ. Ṣùgbọ́n máa ń sọ pé mentorship, èèyàn máa mentor pé èèyàn kan ló máa mentor ẹ̀. Tó ta bá sọ pé Baba Oluwole lénìí, iṣẹ́ tí Baba Oluwole ń ṣe lọ tí Elédùmarè tí kò jẹ́ kó parí ẹ̀ because wọ́n parí iṣẹ́ yẹn délẹ̀. Role yẹn ni Baba Akintoye gbé nísìn láti fi try as much as possible pé kó lè make effort kí ìran Yorùbá lè ní àṣeyọrí. Kò ń ṣe pé ààrẹ àṣeyọrí one or two things ní Nigeria, but in terms of the future, because at some point gbogbo wa máa ní stopover in this world. We pray for a long life up to 200 years, 150 years. But ǹjẹ́ a fẹ́ fi nǹkan tó dá sílẹ̀ fún the next generation tó ń bọ̀? Generation kan ti wà before àwa, and they've done very well, at least to some extent. They've tried their best, even though there was a lot of things that have happened. Àti gbọ́ pé Yorùbá àwọn ìjà kan ti wà, ogun oríṣiríṣi. They've done a lot. They've been slave trade. They've been so much. So the pressure tó ti gbélé ìran kan bíi tiwa àtàwọn ìran tó kù is a lot. But the argument fáwọn kan ni pé we are better off in one block. It is not. It cannot. It is too late. So, and we are not here, having, fight with ọmọ Yorùbá tó sì believe pé, because understanding yìí ni pé there's a country called Nigeria tọ́lọ́run create. Ọlọ́run kọ́ ló create Nigeria. I've said that so many times. Per chance ló fi create Nigeria. It's a business venture and it still remains so. Mo kí our comfort Ológunjà ìfìtẹ́lẹ́dùmarè kì í mọ́ mi. Mo kí Dizzy Man 123, bàbá mi Kẹ́hìndé Hosseini Salami, good evening. Mo kí Allen Conde. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko, safety domain káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Ìyá wa Títílọlá Shaw. Mo kí Mọ̀mísí bàbá mi Bòbóyè Joseph. Kẹ́hìndé Adúmátì mo kí gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ wà nílùú America, Canada, mo kí ní gbogbo European country, mo kí ẹni tẹ́ wà ní Nàìjíríà, ẹ kú rọjú. Bàbá mi Kúnlé Ṣítà mo kí ẹ, mo kí Wàlátà olórí ẹbí wa, mo kí Mr. Afọ Ṣèyí, Sodiq Adékúnlé mo kí ẹ, mo kí ẹni tẹ́ wò mí lórí Tàlúkà àti Thomas, Mr. Adékúnlé Ramon. Kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe lè beat wọn, bàbá mi Fẹ́mi Bánjókòó tí mo fi tẹ̀lédùmarè dárúkọ yín sà. You cannot win any of the political party because their structure has been designed in a way that you cannot fit in and win them. Even if they set up political party, there's no way you can. And your message goes like this: Koiki, we must be a political in southwestern state to get Yoruba nation. We must copy EFF strategies. I still believe we must beat out those in power in Oyo, Ogun, Ondo, Ekiti, Kwara, Kogi, Lagos State. Today, Yoruba nation cannot just occupy their post strategy. The key is, what is the strategy? The strategy is we fight war, or we move out and go straight to those offices and we shut it down completely. I have said it. The truth is, nobody wants to do that. It's going to be painful. There is no way you can join the political party in Nigeria and beat any of the current one, whether it's APC, PDP, or the future one that is going to happen. It will be a total disaster. So if anybody is saying, this is what people told me 3 years ago, oh, Oloyegbuwo has the crowd, let's form a political party and use that to move in, and then from there we get a Yoruba nation. If Gbogbo Yoruba is serious about the Yoruba nation, we move out completely and we tell the politicians that are not up to 1 million. There's no way we're going to get Yoruba nation. There's no doubt about it in my mind. If you go through diplomacy, it will take 30 years, and some of us will be very, very old and we might not have the strength. The strength is now. Baba Akintoye might not tell you this, but I know in fact that he also knows that that will be the end game. And like I said, there's always been war. And I think that will take us straight into the program, because I'm going to talk about NATO. I always watch my sister broadcast and I use that to do a reference case on here. KOIKIMEDIA team. Mukia Yekini Mustafa, Muki Bugwita Wani Oke Ogun, Muki Bugwa Mukabe Sile Yoruba, Mukia Midada, Alalu Barika, Renileku, Adile Yeti Mufitele de Maridaroko Ima, Akibo, Awofe, Muki. If I haven't mentioned your name, please do not take it as anything more than the fact that it's just that we might probably not see. Muki Mr. Said Balogu. Settle into the program. When we talk about problems around the world, many of us are scared because we are not sure what will be the end game. Adúpẹ́ pé ìjì tó jà ní America kò kọlù brother wa ọmọ Ilé-Ṣòwòrẹ́, because there was an earthquake, and we pray that it didn't go in a situation that was worst. The international community are not ready to allow any country to dissolve, but you force the dissolution. And that force means that it's either we use every energy that we have now. And like I said, America, European countries, they cannot do anything to stop it. Because you cannot stop what people want to. We are ready to go. We are ready to go. So before we start going into the program, I'm just double checking that all my platforms are running as it's meant to be. This is an international platform. Please do not ask me, Yoruba Nation, Yoruba. I am not dealing with you alone. I am dealing with many multiple international community that are listening to my program. So be careful when you put a comment out and say, to be Yoruba nation and be from Yoruba. I am not dealing with you just alone. So we're going to go straight into the conversation. There's a lot to cover again tonight. Sit back, get a cup of tea. Muki wente wa nínú àwẹ̀ àtàwátá àgbà. Muki gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, muki ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, muki ẹ̀yin onínúure. Papu dúró tí olóyè Igboho ṣá. Ó máa lékè gbogbo àwọn ọ̀tẹ̀ láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. This platform remain focused, but every platform have the right to decide whatever they want to say. Remember that we have many multiple platforms and everybody has different analysis to what they're discussing. On this platform, we take you around the world, especially some of the things that will capture your mind, and then you might say, okay, bí a mo agree pẹ̀lú Koiki pé ọ̀rọ̀ Nigeria, it is just not worth it. If you're a member of the political party in Nigeria, please do not take us as enemies. Barawaja. Àwọn ṣàlàyé fún yín ni. Ẹ̀yin náà lè ṣàlàyé tí yín pé Nigeria máa work. Igboho kọ́ ni the only leader. Is just one out of the many beautiful leaders in the movement. And we will give him all the necessary support, all the necessary backup as well. So as I'm ready to move us into the conversation tonight, there's a lot to cover, like I said, and I think I have some strength to take us through, if 2 hours, if otherwise 3 hours. Mokibaba Akito Ilenkonsi. We will stand with you and we will not leave you alone. We will be with you throughout this journey. Let's go and listen to NATO. How many of you know the country that are in NATO? There are many of them now. NATO, as we know, is now 75 years old. And it stands for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also called NATO, November Alpha Tango Oscar, NATO. It has 32 member states, 30 European and 2 North America. It was founded on the 4th of April 1949 in Washington, D.C., United States, but the headquarters is in Brussels in Belgium. What have they done in the last 75 years? Let's first look at some of the countries in NATO. Have they done anything to change the world? If you're waiting for international community, láti wá solve problem Nigeria, you are going to wait forever. Mokiyami Comfort, Nikki, Mr. Benga Ayodele Odua, people who intend to darapọ̀ lórí Instagram. There's a lot of destruction in Nigeria. I don't carry those destruction, but we pick it up during our news blog, which is our right, because whatever is happening in Nigeria, my news team are picking it up, but I deal on this platform on self-determination. All that is for me is distraction. There's so many problems that Yoruba people should focus on. There's always a game of mind to distract you from the reality. So let's look at the NATO members country. At present, NATO has 32 member countries. These countries called NATO allies. Baba attack the right láti fight together. They created a lot of damage in Libya, Iraq. They create the mess and they move on. So if you're waiting for international community, they are not coming to save your life, but they are going to extract as much as they can from your country if you remain stupid. This country called NATO allies are sovereign states. Some of them were to population Lagos State. But yet they are making decisions that have destroyed Libya, Iraq, and many other countries that you might not know. NATO to discuss political and security issues and make collective decisions by consensus That is the reason why táwọn ti gba Yorùbá nation. Nígbà tí Dúpẹ́ dé, ó náà ti gba country. That means we don't have current consensus anymore because we now have people that have said, I want to declare. And they're so excited about it, even though nothing has materialized since that declaration. And like I said, if Babakito is going to declare Yoruba nation, I want us to have 60,000 AK-47 brand new and some other weapons so that we can use that to defend the territory. Anything less than that, we need 5 million Yoruba people to come out and defend that declaration. Ìtàbàtì níbọn lọ́wọ́ tá fi defend, I got only 5 million to my also duty. Anything less than that, we are just going to continue where we are right now. Dupe says she declare a country according to her. Yet, Nigerian soldier don't know ọmọ Yoruba. Yet, ọlọ́pàá Nigeria ló ṣì ń ṣiṣẹ́. Yet, court Nigeria ló ń ṣiṣẹ́. Owó Nigeria lè ṣì ń ná. President Tinubu ṣì ní president yìí. How does that add up for a Yoruba people that we say are well educated? It shows that as many people say we are well educated, we have many people that are not. So as far as I see them as people still doing awareness and campaign. Nothing more, nothing less. Tí àwọn Yoruba leaders tí wá bá declare, we will declare in a way that nothing would then exist called Nigeria. Gbogbo banks tó bá bídà nígbà tá bá declare kó ṣì máa lo Nigeria system. That banks will automatically be shut down. Any society, any organization to operate when a declaration comes will then have they will have the consequence because they are no longer operating in Nigeria, they are now operating inside Yoruba country. Yoruba country kì í ṣe Ìbàdàn nìkan. Yoruba country stand all the way from Lagos State to Kwara, Kogi, Ondo, Osun. So this is why we are saying to many people that have said that Atigba Iluwa, you don't have a country yet. But until we have a consensus, whether Pẹ̀láwọn tó fẹ́ Yoruba nation or not, they must start understanding that Tinubu can only fix Nigeria, but that will not make a big impact in Yoruba lives. It does not matter how much you love Tinubu. I don't hate him, and I don't pray for him to die. Because if he dies, Shetima becomes your president, that will become more difficult for us. And Tinubu has just 4 years. NATO was created by 12 countries. Àwọn kan ló máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ nǹkan nílé ayé, àwọn kan ló máa parí ẹ̀. Àwọn kan tí ń ṣe Yorùbá nation wọ́n lè parí ẹ̀ làwa ṣe gbé. Àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re ti pariwo títí pé àwọn fẹ́ restructure Nigeria wọ́n dá wọn lóhùn. And nobody is going to listen to them. This is where we have come in to change the narratives. To say that we are not interested in restructure. We want a full autonomy Yoruba country. And that is exactly what we are doing. There's nothing wrong in that. It's just that many people do not want to accept that. And what they accept is because we need understanding. And for them to have understanding, we must start saving money. Saving money in a way that you go and put that money inside the places that we've asked you to do so that you can then use the money can be used to fund this movement. If you're waiting for a Yoruba wealthy man, that's what sponsor a Yoruba nation campaign, you will be wasting your time, I will be wasting my time. Tí gbogbo wa bá contribute our little resources into this movement, then the message of hope we get into the rural area and people will prepare their mind. We need more rural people than those in the elite, because the elite are part of the criminal that have run Nigeria for the last 63 years. 12 countries created NATO from Europe and North America. Gbogbo nǹkan ló máa ní ìjọ tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ máa níjọ́ tó máa parí. Nàìjíríà máa níjọ́ tó máa parí. Ọlọ́run nìkan ló mọ̀ yẹn, Elédùmarè nìkan ló mọ̀. I don't know, because we can sit here and tell you that a máa gba country lọ́la. I will not be able to do that. But ìjọ tó bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ tí a bá ti gba country wa, it becomes the official date. I am not talking about the 419 Dupe Onitiri day, because that is not relevant to this conversation. All that is just an illusion. Àwọn tó náà wọ́n gba country gan púpọ̀ ní wọn tó ń lọ sílé Nigerian airport ló ń gbà wọlé, whether wọ́n lo Nigerian passport wọlé àbí wọ́n lo foreign passport. Ìjọ tá bá ti declare Yorùbá nation tiwa lábẹ́ Bàbá Akíntóyè, a máa yọ Murtala Mohammed san yẹn, a máa gbọ̀n wálẹ̀, then a máa gbé ti Bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ lé. everything will stop at least. So it is now how it's going to happen is what is the concern of many people. If some of you are still thinking about go and join political party, I believe you are not serious, because a political party in Nigeria is as fraud as anything else. We can force, and I use the word force, F-O-R-C-E, and they force our governors to listen to us. And there's so many ways to do that. Not everything can be discussed on the social media. But what we are not ready to do is we don't want to force them. As in pamper money, as in the pampers money, just about your pampers need the one till we need the same level. They will understand. Gbogbo weapon tó wà nínú Nigeria kò lè pa gbogbo tó wà nínú Nigeria. And that is what you need to understand. When it happens, many people will fall and many people will rise. The future of the Yoruba people will rise, but it's ready. We can move straight into the governor's offices and shut it down. Nothing is going to happen. The military comes out, we will defend it, they kill people, we will retaliate back. We can move into the Senate House and we shut it down completely. In the Yoruba lower Senate North. Are we ready to do all this? This is what we need to start thinking. Tabati ba won so titi to ba ti gbo, then we move out into the street and we shut it down. We shut the airport, we shut the Apapa port, we shut all the road networks. Nothing is going to move in the southwest. Awala nile, North colony, Igbo colony. Igbo to ban complain ko padà lọ sí ìlú ẹ̀. Hausa to ban complain the moment in call ma trade nílùú wọn títí tá ma fi yanjú in tó ń dùn wá lọ́kàn. We move to the palaces, we live there, we start camping there, we live there as long as we want. One, you're right, láti lé wa kúrò ní palace ọba kankan, àwa ni àwọn ọba ló ní wá. All this can still be done without any bullets. Then if the soldiers and the police come, if they attack us, we have the right to defend and attack them back. It's as simple as that. If we are not ready for all that, then that means we need to start pushing more of the reason why we need to go to our people so that they can decide and have their minds ready to exit Nigeria. It is nothing you can do to that because it will continue. And rising one or gbado nonsense in it. There will be so many food that many international community will start bringing aid into Nigeria for us. Even by no jet. But what we are doing is we are waiting for NATO, we are waiting for EU, we are waiting for European countries, we are waiting for African countries to come and tell us what we need to do. Taba serious, tí gbogbo bá bọ́ sójú títì lọ́la, a lọ sí state government house. Wọ́n máa kọ́ ọlọ́pàá síta, wọ́n máa yin tear gas, àwa náà máa dá padà fún wọn. Tó bá yá gbogbo wa máa jọ ṣe kí ni, àjọ máa wà ní the same level. Tó bá release gbogbo security in Nigeria, that means there will be much problem because àwọn ọmọ Igbo náà máa take opportunity inú wọn máa dùn. Security dẹ̀ tún máa jẹ́ problem fún wọn because terrorists ò tí kúrò nínú Nigeria. But gbogbo ilé ìta ṣe ń ṣe nísìn, a kàn ń ṣe preambles ni, àìtí wọn nú àgbà omi gangan. Ntí ìyàwó ẹ̀ máa jẹ, ntọ́mọ ẹ̀ máa jẹ nígbà yẹn gan wà rí pé ó máa jáde. Torí oúnjẹ ṣèpọ̀ níbi tó stọ́ ẹ̀sìn, akọ́lọ̀ máa gbé níbi tó bá wà ní. Ṣèbí wọn ìbẹ́ ìtòbi tó ń jẹ wà, ìbẹ́mọ̀ tó ń jẹ wà. Ìwọ̀nba tó bá wà náà la ṣe máa jẹ, tó bá dẹ̀ yà humanitarian aid máa wọlé. Wọ́n ti ń sọ fún UK nísìnyí pé a lè jókòó ká máa tàbọn fún Israel tó máa fi pààyàn ní Palestine, kò possible. That is the pressure on Rishi Sunak today. Àwọn tó jẹ́ political party ẹ̀gbọ́n sọ fún pé ó lè máa tàbọn. Ẹ mọ reason why because wọ́n pa wọn British mẹ́ta kan. And let me show you their faces. 3 British were killed. 3 British aid workers. Ìwọ tó ní òfin kú kò sẹ́ tó fẹ́ kú lóòótọ́ àwọn tó kú yìí. Ìkan wà nínú wọn tó jẹ́ pé age 33 ni. A gbàdúrà pé kọ́lọ́run ọba Elédùmarè kó wà pẹ̀lú mọ̀lẹ́bí wọn. But for now, àwọn ti di hero tó máa rántí forever. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n nísìn ló jẹ́ kí ó force more people láti sọ fún UK pé ó lè jókòó kí Israel máa pa over 40,000 innocent people. Kò possible. The world is evil. Kò sẹ́ni tó ń bọ̀ wá save yín. Ìgbàlà kankan wà lẹ́nu ìwẹ̀ àwa ni ìgbàlà tá máa jáde sí títì tá máa bèrè ẹ̀tọ́ wa, a máa lagi mọ́ra wa lórí ni, a máa fọ́gi mọ́ra wa lórí. Tó bá ń yìnbọn fún wa, a máa gbàgbọ́n yẹn, a máa ṣe tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ká ṣe pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ padà pẹ̀lú wọn. Tó bá ti yìnbọn fún wa, no problem. Gbogbo etí a sì lọ sáwọn yẹn lọ sọ́jọ́ ta tán yìnbọn táwọn kan sá yẹn, gbogbo yẹn àìtí rẹ́dì ni, tá bá rẹ́dì a máa ṣe the right thing padà. All this is still coming. but kó má bàa dé stage la ṣe ń ṣe gbogbo awareness fáwọn olóṣèlú gbogbo àwọn yáyì yẹn wọ́n máa sá kúrò Nàìjíríà kò séye oògùn tí yáyì bá ní tí 500,000 people bá súnmọ́ yáyì ó máa sá lọ kò séye oògùn tí Sanwó-Olú ní àti security tó ní tí 1 million people bá ya wọ Lagos secretariat lálẹ́ wọ́n bí wọ́n dá kò sí nǹkan tó lè ṣe sí and that becomes a very very disability and but àwọn èèyàn fẹ́ ẹ má ká dá Èkó rú ẹ má ká dá Ògùn state rú ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation you are all wasting your time. Let's read this quickly before we go back to Neto. This is a platform that brings you up to date of what is happening internationally. 40,000 people tó kú nísìn wọ́n sọ fún Israel pé enough is enough. Kódà America tó ń tàbọn fún wọn tó ń support wọn America ti ń fọwọ́n lẹ́ẹ̀mí sí. So let's read this. Family pays tribute to the British aid worker heroes killed in Gaza. Nígbà tá a bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìjà nírú àwọn ilé máa wá sí Nàìjíríà láti wá máa fún wa ní support. But tó bá rò pé ò tí ìjà kó wá ní kọ́ wá kí ló fẹ́ wá ṣe? Òyìnbó tó ń rí tó wá Nàìjíríà nísìn àwọn òyìnbó lè ní. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo wọn but majority wọn ò lè ní 419 ni wọ́n abatèèyànjẹ ni wọ́n lórí burúkú ni wọ́n báwọn bàbá ńlá wọn ṣe làwọn náà ṣe fún wọn. This devastated relative speaks of the selfless and the bravery of World Central Kitchen staff who lost their lives. Bravery, selflessness. Gbóhùn ẹ̀ ò bá kọ voice note tó pọ̀ kó send ẹ̀ sí mi kò make any effort sí mi torí pé at the end of the day it is not going to help you. Release the voice note. Gbogbo voice note yẹn kò lọ anywhere. Inú group yìí náà ló máa lọ from one group to the other. Gbogbo yẹn kò lè work. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bọ́ sójú títí ká bèrè fẹ́ tọ̀ wá. That's all can work. Because gbogbo voice note ṣe yẹn kò jáde sí any public, kò jáde sí international community. N tó máa jáde sí international community is our visibility outside. So when we talk about selflessness, how many of us have it? This is where Igboho became an hero for us and is not a criminal. Igboho was a selflessness. Ẹni tó bá wà selflessness means a concern more with the needs and wishes of others. Àwọn olórí burúkú máa ṣàǹfààní politicians yìí, they are not selflessness. They are one of the evil individuals that you can think of. Bọ̀wọ̀ tó wá, àwa pọ̀ jù wọ́n lọ. Gbogbo ọlọ́pàá múyàn ẹ lọ sanwó fún sí police station tó bá yá gbogbo yẹn máa stop. Àìtí dé stage yẹn ni. Ìjọba bá ti dé stage yẹn ọlọ́pàá gan nílé ìwọṣọ ọlọ́pàá jáde nínú ilé ẹ̀. Native ló máa wọ̀ jáde torí kò ní fẹ́ kẹ́ mọ̀ fún ọlọ́pàá lóhùn. And the same thing with the soldiers. Tọ́ba ń kó sójà wá gbogbo sójà Nàìjíríà kò lè kó wọ̀ lè kó wá sí south west tọ́ba dẹ̀ kó wá wọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀ tó wá. We need to start thinking. Àwọn elite yóò ní jẹ́ kẹgbà Yorùbá nation lórí burúkú ni wọ́n patí lọ́mọ máa ṣe títí tó máa fi kú. Ikú náà dẹ̀ ló máa gbẹ̀yìn gbogbo wa anyway in the long run. So wọ́n tó náà fi kú àwọn kan kú labroad àwọn kan ló kú nísìn mẹ́ta làwọn tó kú yìí. But they were what? Selflessness. Not just selflessness, they were brave. Mo fi máa fi ọ̀rọ̀ burúkú sọ sáwọn Yorùbá but our brave, we are cowards. Cowards ló pọ̀ jù ní púpọ̀ náà wa. We are not ready. Ká kàn máa gbọ́ program ká máa lọ. No, àwa sọ Yorùbá nation di talk show. Ṣé talk show là ń ṣe ni? We are not doing a talk show. But we are cowards. Kí ló ń pè ní? Bravery. Mélòó nù yín ni? Bravery. O fẹ́ support ìyàwó ẹ̀. Kó ní tó lè fi support ìyàwó àtọmọ ẹni pé kí wọ́n bọ́ sí títì. Kí ọjọ́ ọ̀la wọn lè dá. Ṣòfin pé mi tí mo wà lábúròdì náà ṣe rò pé kò ń ṣe pé torí kọjọ́ ọ̀la àwọn ọmọ mi àti ìyàwó mi lè dá. Kí ló rò pé mi ṣe sọ pé màá sọ̀kalẹ̀ wá? Mo ní láti mú ọmọ mi wá, mo ní láti mú ìyàwó wa. Èmi fún ara mi mo máa represent the family tèmi. Ṣé wọ́n ready láti represent the family tiẹ̀? Are you ready to represent your family? Or are you just another coward tó ní brave? Kí ló ń pè ní? Bravery. Ẹni tó wà courageous behaviour or character. Ìtọ́pin sọ pé Ìgbòho is a brave man. Ogun yàtọ̀ sí kíyàn brave. O lè lógún nǹkan tó bá yìnbọn fún ẹ tó bá yẹ pé ogun yẹn tó bá wà brave ó máa wọlé sí ẹ lára. O dẹ̀ lè má lógún tó bá yìnbọn fún ẹ kò níbẹ̀. And we have to be strategic. Gbogbo nǹkan kọ́ la máa sọ lórí social media but I am just preparing your mind. Military platform ní bíbá. Mo wo fíìmù kan ní àná again. I think I posted it on my timeline. Click on wages. Film. Osha Jade. Hello. No. I have to go back on my Twitter and I post a lot of things. Let's see if I can. Then my program Timoshi interview Timoshi Pelu Atlantic Discourse is already out. I've posted it. They don't follow me on Twitter by now. But most of you follow our on Twitter, so we can only do our best, and we're doing our best. And we remain the last man standing. Aki Alaje, happy birthday. Ni Anoloshi birthday, belated birthday, a shop of Lokodunlaye. Ọlọ́run ọba Elédùmarè á bá mi dúró tì yín. A wà pẹ̀lú yín. Ẹ má bínú pé mo jáde lánàá láti wá ṣe program fún yín. Aki dáadáa, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ rí post it, comment sábẹ́, àmọ́ reason why. So we posted this, but it seems that we didn't get enough people to even say happy birthday to her. Unbelievable. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ brave nìyẹn, ìyá yẹn jáde lójoojúmọ́. Àwọn tó wà courageous nìyẹn. But tó bá jẹ́ pé jágbàjágbà, gbogbo àmà ló máa comment síbẹ̀. A ti sọ̀rọ̀ nípa the maze runner ìyẹn kọ́ ni. There's another one I posted yesterday. This is another very nice one. Mo ṣàwò yẹn náà ni. I think that, okay, yeah, that's it. And to ban Netflix, hello movie. It's called The Wages of Fear 2024 movie. No share jáde ni. Mo point that one Nigeria, a man never should download àwọn kìíní yẹn. I'm not going to go too much in details. Tẹ́ bá lè mo bẹ ṣe lọ wò ẹ lọ fine. Ẹ lọ wá gbogbo ọ̀nà bẹ ṣe máa wò. But to make sure pé the right one. The Wages of Fear only. Hello movie and Tobani. Let's just watch the intro a little bit. Or the play trial. Let's see if this should be that shot. Hello, The Wages of Fear. If you have a Netflix, ẹ pé gbogbo fear táwa ń bẹ̀rù yẹn. Kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Ta ló máa kú, ta ló máa yè gbogbo yẹn. Ẹ pé okay, Baba mi dáre Johnny, I just finished watching that movie some minutes ago. Okay, àwọn tájọ wà ní like-minded yẹn. So èmi ò lè máa wo ráwọn fíìmù báyìí kí wọ́n máa bẹ̀rù. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, yẹ ká wo try it there. Find time and watch this film. That is the reason why we have to prepare our mind. I just take us through all these areas. Kò ń ṣe pé torí a fẹ́ jà, but tíjà bá dé ńkọ́. Èmi ò sọ já afẹ́ bá Fúlàní jà mọ́ nísìn, ìjà pẹ̀lú àwọn àtàwọn olóṣèlú lè mi sọ nísìn because they're gonna fight you back. They are monsters. Gbogbo ìtọ́sí ń threaten àwọn ọmọ wa nílé tó ń ṣe kìíní kan. Tá bá ti rẹ́dì, àwa ló máa bẹ̀rù. Bọ́ọ̀ tí bẹ̀rù wa torí pé àìtí dé stage yẹn. A ṣe ń prepare mind wa. Ìjọ tá bá ti dé stage wa, tá bá ti dé stage yẹn, gbogbo olóṣèlú rányàn kan jáde. There is nobody that have monopoly to violence. We don't talk about violence. We don't want violence. But if that is going to be how we're going to shut it down, there's no need for us to be scared of. And to ban Netflix, hello, film here. So I'm going to move on. Let's go back from meta talk pani. We talk about selflessness.
Selflessness.
Kini meaning
selflessness.
What is the true meaning of
selflessness?
Selfless is the opposite of selfish. If you're selfless, you think less about yourself. I am 6,000 kilometers away from Nigeria. Okay, our friend David. Oúnjẹ wà nílé mi. Lóòótọ́ owó la fi ń rà, ó ti wà expensive, especially African food because wọ́n import ẹ̀ wá sí nígbà yẹn. Màá san gas, màá san owó náà. Sky mi nísìn, wọ́n ti send message sí mi, ọ̀tẹ̀ owó yọ. And I'm not joking. And maybe some of you think that we lie when we talk about this thing. But for me, 1 minute. Because some of you think that because we live abroad, everybody has things that we are dealing with. But for me, a few seconds. I have to cover my screen to bring that out. So I gotta cover the screen So let's put this out first. Alright, so now my screen is covered. Then I'm gonna show something now. Because I want to go into my email. I want to show you something now. You think because we are here, that is my Sky message to me email the kuku paro. This message was sent to me OTD at 6 lane and Allah sent it Friday 4:50 p.m. 7 hours ago. Check one koto consider Sky overdue payment on your Sky account. Chama pé the same Sky tí mo fi sọ òun náà la fi ṣe internet. So that means pé tí ìbá rówó ìsan, which is one of the overdue ní sí. Unfortunately, your last direct debit payment hasn't gone through as there weren't enough funds. Ìwọ tó ń rò pé gbogbo owó tó fi gbà lọ́wọ́ mi láti Nàìjíríà máa fún ẹ, mo lè fún ẹ. Bàbá Koiki, ẹ send owó sí wa. No, mo lè send owó tí máa fi sanwó Sky mi. Because tí bá ti send it, that means pé mo ti jẹ gbèsè nílùú ìní yẹn. Tí ìbá dẹ̀ ní Sky, tí mo bá ní internet, báwo lẹ ti fi gbọ́ program tá à ń ṣe lálẹ́. So tá a bá ní ẹ support wa, ẹ fún wa lówó, ẹ máa rò pé à ń ṣeré ni. It's because some of you do not understand that gbogbo BBC lẹ́yìn rí yẹn nísìn owó tá à ń fún wọn lọ fi operate in millions of pounds tó ọ̀dẹ̀ tó sọ nǹkan tó relate mọ́ nǹkan táwa fẹ́. So tó bá ń rí BBC Nàìjíríà àwa là ń fọ́ndẹ̀ láti bíbá. Can you see? Make sure you don't lose your Sky services. Tó bá máa fi di ọ̀la sí ọ̀túnla nísìn àwọn mi máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí complain because remote control ló máa fi control TV mi especially ọmọ Oòduà. Ó ní mic tó bá ti di YouTube a máa bá sọ̀rọ̀ bí àtẹ̀gbọ́n àti ọjọ́ created ni. Ìwé mi nísìn the other remote ni máa ń lò manual but àwọn ọmọ yẹn fi lo manual ẹnu ló máa fi ń bá YouTube sọ̀rọ̀. So to that means in the next 48 hours tí ìbá sanwó yìí nísìn wọ́n máa disconnect Sky services mi. Mo lè má ráyè ṣe internet láti wá ṣe program tó wọ́n máa fi di Sunday nísìn a lè má rí program ṣe. So this is the reason why we are telling you all that, you know, ṣé gbó in terms of the future wa là ń fight fún. Èèyàn wà lábroad kò mean anything o. Ìyà ń já àwọn èèyàn burúkú nílùú òyìnbó. Torí ìwọ tó ṣe dé wá ti ṣe jigijigi pẹ̀lú ìyàwó àtọmọ ẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pé jápalẹ̀ gbádé bíbá ní níwèé o wọ́n ní fáwọn ọmọ yẹn ní British passport o. And I'll give you another video tí mo ṣètúwò lọ́dọ̀ Guardian newspaper lórí YouTube. So unfortunately your last direct debit payment hasn't gone through as there weren't enough funds. Wọ́n ní kò sówó láàkáǹtì ní táwọn fẹ́ fi yọ. This means that there is now overdue of £87.95 on your Sky account. But wọ́n ní kí n má worry, we will automatically make another request on the 13th, which is like another 6 days. Failure to make payment at the earliest opportunity. What to mama add the £10 no. So when some of you think that people abroad, owó kan wà lọ́wọ́ wọn tó fi ń ṣe tó ná, kò sí. A manage ni àfẹ́ àwọn tó ń jalè, àwọn èèyàn ń jalè tó ń ṣe drug tó ń ṣe 419 tó ń ṣe yahoo àwọn ò sí. That's why mo máa ń sọ I've lived there for 24 years kò sí bàbá ẹni tó máa jáde tó máa sọ pé bọ̀bọ̀ tó ń lọ yẹn. But some of us are saying now that we are not selfish. Ẹlòmíì owó tó yẹ kó fi sanwó ilé ẹ̀ ló sẹ́ndì sí wọn máa lè tó ń wá ń bu olórí burúkú one bastard. Ẹlòmíì owó tó yẹ kó fi ránjẹ sínú ilé fáwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ òun ló máa sẹ́ndì sí wọn torí pé ó pè pé ààrẹ òyà ó fẹ́ lọ sí hospital torí pé kò sí system tó ṣiṣẹ́. So when we talk about selfless is the opposite of selfish. Our diaspora was selfish. La ṣe push effort pé ká tètè kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Because tá bá wà selfish we will not be worried about those of you at home. Ìwọ̀nba tá a bá ní la máa manage. But ìwọ̀nba tá a níyẹn nísìn àwa là ń sẹ́ndẹ̀ sílé because government to represent yín mọ́. So kílẹ̀ wá ní ká máa dàrú. Ìyẹn máa ń wọ́n dàbí àwọn ẹni ká máa ti dàrú kílẹ̀ fi dàrú. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kúkú dàrú. Because àwọn ò gbádùn níbí báyìí náà gbádùn lọ́hùn tó bá dẹ̀ rò pé lọ́nà mo pa àpàdà bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ àwọn arákùnrin mẹ́ta yìí. Mo kàn ń gbé yín káàkiri lórí tó níbí báyìí ní international platform gbogbo tẹ́ ń gbọ́ ní gbogbo other platform yẹn pé táwọn ṣe wà okay but ibi báyìí ló ti máa gbọ́ bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ internationally. Tó bá dẹ̀ rò pé lọ́nà mo pa jẹ́ tún gbé lọ síbòmí bí àṣàrò ní tẹ́ntẹ́ máa gbé yín débẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo fídíò yìí Bon. There's another video. The woman breaking through the silence of asylum experience. Àwọn tó wọ̀ lú ìtọ́ níwèé. Naija ni mọ́mì yìí. Manchester ló wà. Wọ́n wà lára àwọn tó ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé ẹni tó níwèé ẹ jáde síta ká gbọ́ yín. Ẹ rò pé mo máa ń sọ pé mi nìkan ni mo 15 years ni wọ́n fi fún mi níwèé. The woman kan wà níbí báyìí 14 years kò ń ṣe woman yìí o. A ní lè play gbogbo documentary délẹ̀ ọ̀sẹ̀ mi kọ́ mo ní copyright ni. 8 days ago lọ posted ní Rochdale ní Manchester. Àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà àti African àtàwọn Somali tó ń jìyà látara pé wọ́n níwèé asylum seeker máa bọ̀ ní London àjọba máa gbé níbí báyìí wàá kọ̀ dé asylum ní bọ̀ 14 years ó tì mí kúrò nílùú yìí tó bá dẹ̀rọ pé gbogbo nǹkan ló wà rosy wàá rí nísìn ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ díẹ̀ níbẹ̀. And I do not own the copyright to this.
Oh, let's talk.
So we're into making this film, aren't we? We want to make this film.
Yeah.
At ground zero, the starting point. What do you think it should be about?
Wow. My name is Fola Shade. For years, I've been working with asylum seekers who make up part of my community. Thank you, Auntie.
Lò as a program ṣe a gbọ́dọ̀ máa sọ̀rọ̀ láàrin méjì ẹ̀ ṣorí ìwọ tó mo kí ẹ easy brother mi dáadáa káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ṣorí ìwọ tí àǹtí ẹ̀ tó ti wà ní London láti 14 years tó ń pressurize kò send mobile phone fún ẹ òun gan ní ilé tó ń gbé wàá rí ilé tíyàn ń gbé ilé tó ń gbé gbogbo ẹ̀ ti já wálẹ̀ so gbogbo tá à ń sọ reality ni èmi ṣò fún yín ní bíbá reality ni. Tó bá jẹ́ káwọn kan parọ́ fún ẹ pé torí ó ti wà London tó ń ya picture lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ mọ́tò òun kọ́ ló ní mọ́tò yẹn gèjè ní disguise ló ń pè é ìyàtọ̀ kan ní pé o ò lè mọ̀ pé òun kọ́ ló ní. Many people are going through a lot in this country and we are trying our best níwọ̀nba táwa ti gbé níbí báyìí nísìn láti guide ẹ̀yin tẹ̀sẹ̀ ń dé tó bá dé tó bá níwèé o a kò máa guide ẹni èmi kọ́ ni máa guarantee tó máa gbàwé o a kò máa guide ẹni another 10 years o lè má rí ìwé gbà o má rò pé bí brother àìmọye àwọn tó gbàwé lẹ́yìn ìgbà tèmi débù yìí bọ̀ mo jẹ́ kó olúkálukú kéèsì olúkálukú on merit ni but n tó máa ṣe n tó máa sọ ìyẹn à ń ṣe social media máa sọ fún ẹ but ẹ̀yin tẹ̀sẹ̀ ń dé lórí COS sórí wọ tó ń sọ pé kí n shut up o lè fara wé mi because ibi ìgbà ilé mi ti gbé èmi ti fara jìyà yẹn for 15 years in tí woman yẹn sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí èmi ò claim asylum o I was not an asylum seeker but in tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí èmi ti scale through ẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ tèmi ti scale through ẹ̀ because èmi ti fara jìyà fáwọn ọmọ tèmi. So tó bá rò pé tó bá dé lọ́la tó bá bímọ sílùú ìwà gbàwé irọ́ ni o lè gbàwé o gbọ́ mi dáadáa tó bá dé lọ́la tíwà tí ọkọ ẹ tẹ bá ṣe jigijigi tẹ bá bímọ sí kódà tó bá bímọ fún British gànṣẹ ẹ máa ṣe wàhálà torí pé ìwọ ní ìwé tẹ́lẹ̀ ambos ìbọ́sẹ̀ yìí tẹ̀sẹ̀ méjì kan tẹ̀sẹ̀ dé láti Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́ ní ẹbí àtàbá bímọ sínú system ó ọ̀tẹ̀ ní fún ẹ ó wọ entitled sí pọ́pọ́ ẹnu ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká gbọ́ díẹ̀ lára nǹkan tí wọ́n máa fi sọ.
Women are ready to talk about what they're going through. They are not hiding anymore because hiding is not making, there's no change in hiding. We need somebody like maybe Agatha, like she's living it.
I've been in this country for 14 years and I've been in the asylum system for 7 years.
Ṣerere tó náà wọ́n padà nínú program yìí bóyá torí pé pressure ti wà home office padà wá fún níwèé 14 years òun àtọmọ ẹ̀ kò síwèé ilé ìtẹ̀ ìwé gangan ẹ̀ ṣorí pé bó ṣe wọṣọ nísìn títọ́ bá sọ fún ẹ pé fine woman yìí ò níwèé àwọn family adẹ́wà ní Africa wà máa bèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ £5 ló máa fún ní every week £5 every week now calculate iye tèmi lónìí fẹ́ fi sanwó íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì £85 lọ́ní kí n san nísìn tèmi tí kò tí jáde kọ́ wá ní kíyàn kan wọ́n wá fún ní £5 báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ survive? Reality nìyẹn. Tó bá dẹ̀ ní ìwé òdìṣẹ́ ní tìkó tẹ́ ń ṣe ní bí system ṣe ń work ní sí everything is order àti gbalẹ̀ nílùú ìlú ìsìn gbọdọ̀ níwèé because landlord ìlú yìí á béèrè pé kò lọ share kíní kan share code wà á share code pé o ní right láti gbé nílùú yìí because wọ́n make it difficult because ìwọ tó gba visa wọlé tó bá gbé pẹ̀lú àǹtí àbí pàdé ẹ̀ kan tó ń sọ fún ẹ pé kò máa bọ̀ after 3 days ó máa tiẹ̀ síta sójú títì náà sọ fún ẹ pé kò possible ẹ̀ lè wó ìjà táwọn èèyàn ń jà nílùú yìí ojú ti Nàìjíríà lọ. Pàdé mi ni tí bá dé London máa gbé èmi gan ò lè gbé pẹ̀lú mi pàtì ó gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi mo ò lè gbàlejò sílé kò possible ò lè sún one night gan lọ́dọ̀ mi kò possible because kò sí space ibo ni máa fi ẹ́ sí ní máa fi ẹ́ sí pálọ̀ nàbí máa fi ẹ́ sí ní yàrá ìyàwó mi. So we're telling you the truth. ìyẹn ò ní pé tó bá láyè wọlé kó má wọlé ẹ̀ tó bá dé kódà bí bísẹ̀ bá expire ìwọ ṣàpè ní ìyànsọ tó máa ṣe fún ẹ but èmi kọ́ ni máa guarantee ìwé yẹn fún ẹ o mo dẹ̀ ṣe visa wọlé má pè mí pé bàbá Koiki ló ní ti visa tó bá ń kú o bá forí rìn wọlé problem tiẹ̀ nìyẹn but what we are saying is that we cannot live in denial ó díẹ̀ lára tí woman baby sọ máa fast forward ẹ̀ díẹ̀ tó kápọ̀ gbọ́ díẹ̀ sí.
7 years and I haven't had a decision. I'm still waiting. They are always the subject of stories in the news, but they never get to tell the stories themselves. What do you think? I've always wanted to, because I've experienced a lot. Then I need it out of my system. It's some kind of power. I would even help you to write a script. Let's start by hearing a bit about Agatha. I have a child. The child was born early. She was born 23 weeks. They came to the hospital wanting to take me because I was an illegal immigrant.
Kémi bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣàlàyé bẹ́ẹ̀ dáadáa ó bímọ sí ìlú yìí pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ wọ́n tún fẹ́ gbé lọ sí detention camp. I'm just trying to take our mind that àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ lọ́ọ́ bá gbogbo system tí wàá jẹ́ lọ́hùn during that era. Àwọn yẹn ló wá rò pọ̀ máa wá túnṣe fún ẹ àwa tá à ń gbé nígbà ẹ̀gàn wọ́n ń dì pẹ̀lú wa àwọn sisters wa tó dé 14 years so I'm gonna move strictly tó bá fẹ́ lọ wò ẹ lọ share kẹ lọ wò lórí oníbi kan tí mo fẹ́ kọ́ show fún yín bíbá ẹ̀kọ́ inú ilé tó ń gbé bíbá kẹwàá gbọ́n kẹwàá gbọ́ kó wá sórí bó beautiful sọlẹ̀ sọ fún ẹ pé lè yóò níwèé so ìwọ tó wà ní Nàìjíríà torí pé gbogbo àwọn tó ń pè ní London pé kọ́ send mobile phone fún ẹ ṣé tó ń gba £5 lọ́sẹ̀ á rí mobile phone send sí ẹ èpè lẹ́lòmíì iṣẹ́ fún yín tẹ́ẹ̀mọ̀ nígbà tẹ́ bá drop ó yá ẹ jẹ́ ká wo inú ilé ẹ̀ nísìn inú ilé ẹ̀ lọ́ fẹ́ wọ̀ yìí o lẹ́yìn ilé à continue program wa lọ.
So show you the process of what it takes to report a problem if you're an asylum seeker. So we're going to try and call them.
Thank you for calling Migrant Help Asylum Services. All our agents are currently busy.
The boiler was broken. The guy who came to fix the boiler, he stepped on the sink, and because the sink was already broken, it snapped. He left without fixing it. That was last year. This was the ceiling. It fell in the middle of the night. I was downstairs. My daughter was in bed, and the next thing I heard was a sound. Boom! These were my mushrooms. Don't get me wrong, I do appreciate, I know how the hustle is out there. I know people are sleeping rough in the streets. I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. I've transformed this house to make it better for my child. And that was because of the help that I get in the community. But is it really home inside my heart? Do I really feel like I'm home? No, I don't. Is that freedom that I need to work?
Did you hear that? It is that freedom that she needs láti lè ṣiṣẹ́ láti lè ẹ̀nà owó tiẹ̀ kọ́ máa fún ní £5 á lè lọ gbalé tó dáa á lè ìgbé àlàáfíà ìntẹ́mi náà wá fún ẹ ní Nàìjíríà nìyẹn tí mo ní ká kúrò ní Nàìjíríà ká gba Yorùbá country freedom tèmi púpọ̀ nínú náà ilé face my face rẹ̀ gbé àbí slap my slap you ilé tó ní toilet sori pé yàn ló wà London yẹn kò ní bọ́ ọmọ tó mì pé kí ọmọ ní bọ́ èmi wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yìí tà mí nísìn tó tutù bá mú mi nísìn máa lọ́tàn á máa rà mí lára bọ̀ ọmọ bíi tí gáàsì yẹn ti ń bọ̀ Africa because àwa la jẹ́ kó máa gbé gáàsì wá sí bíbá. This is what we are saying. Freedom, no, only that freedom. Ó padà fún níwèé o, ó ti pé 14 years. Bí ọgbọ́n kan tó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ dáadáa bí ẹ̀kọ́ ra rẹ̀ wọ́n ẹ̀nì kékeré bí ẹ̀kọ́ gbọ́. That freedom pé kó n kọ́ free ló kàn sọ. I'm gonna make my mind.
My heart, do I really feel like I'm home? No, I don't. Is that freedom that I need to work? You go online or you see, they're taking our taxpayers' money. I wish I had a choice.
Did you hear that? She thinks I think I have a choice. Our man a choice in this thing. Gbogbo àwọn àpariwo ẹni ká shut up gbẹnu dákẹ́ dáadáa èyí tó rẹ wà nílùú òyìnbó ìlú òyìnbó ló ti rí yan reality ìlú òyìnbó náà rí yan lóòótọ́ tóun náà bá ti settle down nísìnyí ara máa á bẹ̀ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ìgbà yẹn ló máa sọ pé òun bọ̀ ń lé so gbogbo irú orin ìsìn bàbá àwọn tó bá tẹ̀ tó ń rí kankan ṣe tó bá wá náà wálé project tó bá ṣe sílé Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó bá. So this is why we are saying that freedom wọ́n ta ní mọ́ṣáláṣí Jímọ̀ ó lè ra freedom ní mọ́ṣáláṣí Jímọ̀ ó lè ra ní church bàbá Débóyè ò lè fún yín ní freedom Akéwúgbàgbọ́dọ̀ lè fún yín ní freedom Imam ọ̀fọ̀ lè fún yín ní freedom babaláwo lè fún yín ní freedom ìwọ fún rẹ ló máa sọ pé you feel free but we have to be selfless. So I'm gonna move away from there and tó bá fẹ́ wò àmà share link yẹn later on kí mo ti share so ibi tẹ́ bá ti rí tí mo ti share sí kẹ́ lọ́ máa wò níbẹ̀. Let's come back to these 3 heroes. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ káwa kú nínú ìrìn àjò yìí ọbẹ̀ Elédùmarè àwọn àfẹ́sọ́ ẹ̀ṣọ́ wa but we must prepare our mind that any shit can happen kò sí nǹkan tó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ láyé tá à ń gbé nísìn. So let's read quickly. Àwọn mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta bẹ́ẹ̀ ń wò yìí the youngest one nínú wọn I believe is 33 years old. 33. Ìwọ ọmọ 40 ó ṣe Alan Conde, if you ask stupid people like this to support Yoruba nation, they will say no because they still want Nigeria. I hope we really listen to that. We talk with him. I don't know what country she's from anyway. So let's read swiftly. A British aid worker in Israel airstrike in Gaza was subject to an inhumane act, his family have said. John Chapman, Olele, already John Chapman, 57 years old, who was understood to be a former member of the Special Force, was among 7 World Central Kitchen aid workers killed by an Israel Defense Force attack on a humanitarian convoy on Monday. His family said in a statement issued to the Foreign Office, "We are devastated to have lost John, who was killed in Gaza. He died. Magboleyo, he died trying to help people and was subject to an inhumane act. He was an incredible father, husband, son, and brother. He died. Ó kú látara pé ó lọ ṣe iṣẹ́ humanitarian fáwọn kan. Ṣé wọ́n tó máa ń bí wí ẹ̀ka ló bẹ̀ mí iṣẹ́ kíní kan tó orí bàbá òpè kò ní dáfún bàbá ẹ̀ one bastard. Ara selfless, ara bravery pé ìyà ò jẹ́ àwa ṣì wà okay. Being selfless is similar to being altruistic, another word for giving to others without looking for personal gain. Ìgbòho bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ pé ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, security ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ó ṣe mọ́rán ó ṣe kinní kan ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀ ń bóni because he's a brave man. 1 million Fúlàní wọ̀ bí wọ́n dá kọ́dá Ìgbòho dúró 1 million ni mo sọ wọ́n ti bí bàbá mo ti wo fídíò máa kan bàbá kan ẹ lọ wo fídíò yẹn mo post ẹ lórí timeline mi wọ́n 1 million wọ́n bí wọ́n dá torí ọba Elédùmarè ń bẹ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ kò ń ṣe pé ọba Elédùmarè ò bẹ pẹ̀lú àwa náà but chances ló máa pa wá wà and that is why we are saying we must continue to appreciate Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho for his braveness. Brave ẹni tó bá wà brave ìyàtọ̀ máa ń wà pẹ̀lú ẹni tó wà brave olórí burúkú gbáà nígbà àwọn politicians they are not brave enough to say to the north ṣe nàìjíríà mọ̀ a fẹ́ pull out olùsí ni wọ́n gbogbo wọn pátá látòkè délẹ̀ because they are part and parcel of the problems. àwa la máa sọ fún wọn pé we will stop it tó bá wọn kọ́ kó 1 million soldiers síta we are not going to gree and no gree for anybody in 2024 as they say. What is the meaning of
bravery?
Kí ló ń pè ní
bravery?
It is the quality. Ìyàtọ̀ wà sí tó ń pè wọ́n máa ń pè kankan ní quantity. Ó ṣàrántí secondary school tó máa ti ṣẹ̀wà yẹn tán bá ìgbà yẹn lè ní máa ń sáré lọ bẹ̀rù kó tó da omi sí kó tó bá ti da omi sí báyìí gbogbo ẹ̀ ti di yánmayánmá. But wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ da omi sí torí pé kó bá a pọ̀ torí tó bá tíìkì yẹn student mélòó lọ́ fẹ́ fún lẹ́wà yẹn jẹ wá gbọ́n mi sí ìwà wa máa fi gàrí support ẹ̀ láàrin ẹ̀ kòkòrò oríṣiríṣi akọ́ máa float torí wọ́n ṣẹ̀wà yẹn wọ́n máa ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìgbọ́dọ̀ ti ní tàn láti máa ṣẹ̀wà yẹn. Because quantity ni but quality ni bàbá Akíntóyè quality ni Ìgbòho quality ni YSDF quality ni Yorùbá World Media quality ni gbogbo àwọn mídíà tá à ń pariwo. Àwọn mídíà Nàìjíríà tó ń sọ pé àwọn ṣe Nàìjíríà pé àwọn ò fẹ́ Yorùbá they are quantity ni wọ́n quantity làwọn yẹn they are not serious. But it's entirely up to us to decide whether we want to be part of the
bravery,
the quality or state of having or showing mental or moral strength. Yoruba nation is not for joke. Man sọ fún yín kò ń ṣe àwàdà là ń ṣe níbí báyìí. It is for mental people ẹni tó lè dúró tó yẹ ó lè process. Bàbá Koiki kí la máa kí ló máa ò ní láti máa sọ fún mi tó fẹ́ ṣe ní tó bá fẹ́ ṣe lọ ṣe ní tó bá fi kò lè ṣe. Kí la máa ṣe nísìn nìkan àròjọ kan máa rojọ́ orí ibú lórí social media a máa rojọ́ orí ibú lórí Twitter a máa rojọ́ ṣe no gbogbo yẹn ò lè work in tó nídìí ni pé action wa làwọn èèyàn fẹ́ rí àwa ń dúró de Ìgbòho à ń dúró de no à ní láti dúró de Ìgbòho general actor lòun ẹ jẹ́ káwa bọ́ síta káwọn wá ṣiṣẹ́ kọ́ ṣe iṣẹ́ ibi fún wa bí Ìgbòho ni wá tẹ̀lé wa lẹ́yìn ó ti sọ fún wa pé òun ibi tá a bá ń lọ lòun ń lọ but àwa ṣì wà ń dúró kóun kọ́kọ́ sọ̀kalẹ̀ ìkànnì yín méjì inú yín ẹ lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ but nítorí pé ẹ ti ready níbi tó ń pè ní
bravery.
That is where the problem is. But okay kájọ máa post social media talk tó bá yá ní courage kí ló ń pè ní courage. Courage is also the choice and willingness to confront agony, pain and danger, uncertainty or intimidation